Picture this. The biggest day of your life is like in exactly 48 hours.
Oh, the classic nightmare scenario.
Exactly. Maybe it's your wedding or, I don't know, the most important presentation of your entire career. You walk into the bathroom, flip on that awful, harsh fluorescent light, and bam,
There it is.
right there. A massive, painful underground breakout has just like set up camp right in the middle of your forehead. And your immediate instinct is to just panic. You want to attack it with, every harsh chemical, scrub, and tool in your bathroom cabinet.
Which is, biologically speaking, the absolute worst thing you could possibly do in that moment.
Right. But why does this always seem to happen? I mean, you could have flawlessly clear skin for 3 straight years while, like, sitting in your sweatpants watching television. But the second the stakes are high, your pores seem to stage this highly coordinated rebellion.
They really do. It feels personal, doesn't it?
It feels completely personal. So today, we are disarming that skincare time bomb. For this deep dive, we're breaking down a really specific, comprehensive 30 to 60 day bridal acne emergency plan.
And, even if walking down the aisle isn't anywhere on your immediate horizon, the biology we are about to discuss applies to literally any high-stakes scenario. Your skin doesn't know if you're getting married or, like, pitching a startup.
It just knows you're freaking out.
Exactly. It only knows that you're under extreme stress, and it reacts accordingly.
Which is why today's source material is so incredibly useful. We're pulling directly from the article section on the Weddizer website. If you're looking for comprehensive guidance on how to find your glow, Weddizer is just a fantastic resource.
It really is. They have such great specific advice.
Yeah, their articles are specifically tailored to help you navigate like very niche wellness topics, like this exact emergency protocol we're talking about. We're going to extract the timeline, the specific do's and don'ts, and most importantly, the actual biological mechanisms behind why these strategies even work.
What stands out immediately about the Weddizer Guide is its underlying philosophy. It treats the skin as an active, responsive organ.
Yeah.
It's constantly communicating with your internal systems and your external environment.
It's not just a blank canvas.
Right. It's not a canvas you can just paint over or scrub away.
Oh.
If you don't address the root cause of the inflammation, any topical cream you apply is really just a temporary bandage.
Okay, let's unpack this, because before we can talk about the emergency fix, we have to understand the trigger. The Weddizer article identifies the primary culprits for pre-event flare-ups, and the biggest one is stress leading to hormonal imbalances.
That's a big one, yeah.
But how exactly does being nervous about a caterer or a project deadline physically manifest as a pimple on your chin?
It all comes down to a very specific cascade of hormones. When you're under psychological pressure, your brain signals your adrenal glands to release cortisol, which is the primary stress hormone.
Okay, cortisol, we hear about that all the time.
Right. But here's the critical part. Your sebaceous glands, those are the microscopic glands in your skin that produce oil, they actually have receptors for stress hormone.
Wait, really? The oil glands have stress receptors?
Yes. So when cortisol floods your system, it acts like a chemical master switch. It literally commands those glands to go into overdrive and pump out massive amounts of sebum, which is, your skin's natural oil.
Wow. So it's not just some vague, stress makes you break out concept. Your brain is literally sending a chemical command code to your face to produce more oil.
Precisely. And when that excess oil mixes with dead skin cells, it creates a plug in the pore. And that trapped environment becomes an all-you-can-eat buffet for a specific type of bacteria.
Acne bacteria.
Exactly. Cutibacterium acnes. It thrives in oxygen-deprived, oily environments. So bacteria multiply, your immune system rushes white blood cells to the area to fight the infection.
And boom, you have a swollen, red, painful blemish.
You got it, the classic inflamed blemish.
Okay, so how do we stop that? Let's get into the 60-day protocol they recommend to intercept that whole process. The Weddizer Guide treats this 2-month mark like the foundation of a strategic operation.
It's all about groundwork at this stage.
Right. At 60 days out, they emphasize establishing a very gentle, consistent routine. You need a mild, non-comedogenic cleanser used twice daily.
And just to clarify, for anyone who sees that word on every bottle at the pharmacy, non-comedogenic is simply the dermatological term indicating a product has been formulated specifically to avoid ingredients that are known to clog pores.
Or comedones.
Exactly. Comedones are clogged pores.
Okay, so you have your mild cleanser, and then you introduce targeted treatments. The guide specifically calls out 2 heavy hitters here: Salicylic acid and benzoyl peroxide. Now, I know these are literally everywhere, but why these two specifically?
Because they attack the acne mechanism from two completely different angles. So,
Yeah.
salicylic acid is a beta-hydroxy acid, or BHA. The crucial thing to know about BHAs is that they are lipophilic,
Which means oil soluble.
right? They dissolve in oil. So while other acids might just sweep away dead cells on the surface of your skin, salicylic acid can actually dive down through the oil inside your pore and dissolve the sebum and cellular debris from the inside out.
Oh, wow. It's like a microscopic pipe cleaner.
That is a great way to visualize it, actually.
Yeah.
And then you have benzoyl peroxide, which, on the other hand, is an antimicrobial agent. Remember how we said acne bacteria thrive in oxygen-deprived environments?
Yeah, the trapped pores.
Right. Benzoyl peroxide works by delivering oxygen deeply into the pore. It essentially suffocates the anaerobic bacteria by exposing them to oxygen, killing them off before they can even trigger that inflammatory response.
That makes total sense. But there is one foundational step at the 60-day mark that I really want to push back on because it sounds counterintuitive.
Let's hear it.
The guide is absolutely adamant about using moisturizer. Like, they insist that hydration is essential even for highly acne-prone skin. But wait, if my face is already an oil slick and my pores are literally overflowing with sebum, isn't slathering a layer of moisturizer on top of that just adding fuel to the fire?
It's a very common assumption.
Mm-hmm.
But what's fascinating here is that the Weddizer guide identifies over-cleansing and skipping hydration as one of the most catastrophic mistakes you can make for acne-prone skin.
Really? Worse than not washing it.
Oh, absolutely. To understand why, you have to picture the outermost layer of your skin, the stratum corneum, like a brick wall.
Okay, I'm picturing a brick wall.
So the skin cells are the bricks, and the natural lipids, ceramides, and oils are the mortar holding everything together. When you use harsh cleansers and refuse to apply moisturizer, you are effectively stripping away all of that protective mortar. You completely compromise the skin barrier.
Meaning moisture can just evaporate right out of the skin.
Yes, dermatologists call it transepidermal water loss. But it gets worse.
Yeah.
When your skin realizes that its barrier is broken and it's losing water rapidly, it panics. The sebaceous glands sense this severe dehydration and try to compensate by producing an avalanche of extra oil to seal the leaks.
No way. So by starving your skin of a gentle, water-based moisturizer, you actually force it to become significantly oilier.
Exactly. You trigger the exact problem you're trying to solve.
Wow. So moisturizing oily skin is basically a negotiation tactic. You have to, like, convince your skin that it's safe, it's hydrated, and it can just stand down and stop overproducing oil.
That's spot on. You're signaling to your nervous system and your skin barrier that there is no drought, so there's no need to hoard oil. And the guide also notes that if you establish this gentle, consistent routine at the 60-day mark and your acne is still moderate to severe, that is the deadline to book a dermatologist appointment.
Because it takes time for the heavy artillery to work, right? Like, if you need prescription topicals or oral medications or maybe professional chemical peels, you need to give your skin a full 2 months to acclimate and recover from any irritation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You cannot rush cellular turnover. It just takes time.
Okay, so we've talked deeply about repairing the surface barrier, but the skin is ultimately an organ fed by the bloodstream. If your internal engine is constantly inflamed, I mean, no topical cream in the world is going to save you.
Which brings us to the 30-day checkpoint.
Yes, the 30-day checkpoint. The Weddizer article heavily emphasizes that true wellness and a complexion that actually glows requires starving the acne from the inside out.
Which means looking very, very closely at hydration, diet, and stress management.
So let's start with hydration. The baseline they set is 8 to 10 glasses of water daily, while actively avoiding excessive caffeine and sugary drinks.
Which is standard, but crucial.
Right. But to supplement that internal hydration, they recommend applying hydrating serums containing hyaluronic acid directly to the skin.
Hyaluronic acid is a brilliant molecule for this exact situation. It's a humectant, which means it acts like a biological sponge.
Just soaking up water.
Exactly. A single molecule of hyaluronic acid can hold up to 1,000 times its own weight in water. It pulls moisture from the environment and binds it to your skin cells. It gives you that plump, hydrated look without adding a single drop of heavy, pore-clogging oil.
Oh, that's magic. So what does this all mean when we get to the dietary advice? Because the Bridal Acne Emergency Plan states you need to load up on fruits, vegetables, and omega-3s while actively limiting dairy, processed sugar, and greasy foods.
Right.
Is this just general, like, hey, eat your greens wellness fluff, or is there a tangible biological pipeline from a slice of cake to the pores on your face?
Oh, there is a very direct pipeline.
Ah.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, let's look at processed sugar and high glycemic foods. When you eat something that spikes your blood sugar rapidly, your body releases a surge of insulin to bring it back down, right?
Right?
Well, this insulin spike triggers the release of something called IGF-1, or insulin-like growth factor 1.
And what does IGF-1 do?
It acts as a massive stimulant for your sebaceous glands. High levels of IGF-1 literally command the glands to grow larger and pump out more oil.
You gotta be kidding me.
I wish I was. Furthermore, it increases the production of androgens, which are hormones that further exacerbate acne. So a sugar crash isn't just about feeling tired. It is a literal chemical instruction manual telling your face to break out.
Okay, that is slightly terrifying, but also incredibly motivating to hear. What about dairy, though? Why is that on the hit list?
Dairy is complex, but cow's milk naturally contains bovine hormones and growth factors that are designed to help a calf grow rapidly.
Which makes sense for a calf.
Right. But when humans consume these, particularly in concentrated forms like whey protein or skim milk, those hormones can interact with our own hormone receptors. It triggers inflammatory pathways and, again, increases sebum production.
So by cutting these out at the 30-day mark, you're just shutting down the internal inflammation factories.
Exactly. You're removing the fuel.
And the Weddizer guide couples this with mandatory stress management. They list yoga, meditation, short breaks, and securing 7 to 8 hours of sleep.
Sleep is so vital here. Sleep isn't just a time for rest. It is the designated window for cellular regeneration.
Like your body's repair mode.
Exactly. During deep sleep, your body's production of human growth hormone peaks, and that repairs tissue and damaged skin cells. If you have an active breakout, well-hydrated, well-rested skin physically heals much, much faster than sleep-deprived skin.
Okay, so at this 30-day mark, to help that healing process along, the guide suggests introducing targeted treatments. They recommend weekly clay masks to absorb excess oil and chemical exfoliation 1 to 2 times a week to keep the pores unclogged.
What?
But there is a massive underlined warning here in the source: absolutely no harsh physical scrubs.
This is a mistake so many people make when they are desperate. They buy a scrub with crushed walnut shells or like microbeads, thinking they can literally sand the acne off their face.
Just scrubbing the pimple away. Going back to your brick wall analogy, it's like taking a sledgehammer to the mortar.
Precisely. Those jagged particles create microscopic tears, microfissures in the healthy skin. If you have active infected acne, you are essentially rupturing the bacteria and physically dragging it across your face, planting it into those new micro tears.
Oh, wow. That sounds horrific.
It is. You are spreading the infection and causing massive inflammation.
Which is why chemical exfoliation is the way to go instead.
Yes. Ingredients like AHAs, alpha-hydroxy acids, such as glycolic or lactic acid, they don't tear the skin. Dead skin cells are held together by protein bridges called desmosomes.
Okay.
AHAs act like microscopic scissors. They gently dissolve that cellular glue so the dead skin can shed naturally, without any friction or physical damage to the skin barrier.
Okay, so we've built our gentle foundation at 60 days. We've shut down the internal inflammation factory at 30 days. We are now entering the danger zone.
The danger zone,
We are 14 days out from the big event.
otherwise known as a psychological panic window.
Oh, absolutely. As the deadline approaches, human nature just tempts us to try extreme measures. We look in the mirror, we decide our skin isn't glowing quite enough, and we want to do something drastic.
Which is exactly what you should not do.
Right. The Weddizer article specifically warns against this. Between 7 and 14 days before the event, your focus must shift purely to hydration and sleep. You stick to your calming skincare, absolutely no new products, no new facial treatments,
None.
and absolutely no untested DIY remedies you found on a social media video.
You cannot, I repeat, cannot introduce a novel chemical to your immune system 2 weeks before a major event. You run the very real risk of allergic contact dermatitis.
Like a bad reaction.
A terrible reaction. If your skin reacts poorly to a new botanical extract or a strong acid, you will trigger an aggressive immune response. We're talking redness, blistering, severe flaking, and that takes weeks to heal.
Yeah, that's not something you want right before walking down the aisle. The guide also emphasizes extreme makeup hygiene during this 14-day window.
Yes, very important.
Using only non-comedogenic makeup, washing your face thoroughly every single night, and critically, washing your makeup brushes.
A damp, unwashed foundation brush is a perfect incubator. It's dark, it holds moisture, and it's coated in old oils and dead skin cells.
Gross.
Right. If you use a dirty brush during the most critical 2 weeks of your skincare timeline, you are effectively painting acne bacteria directly onto your clean